Welcome to the Weekly Buzz from Silver Spring State Park. I'm Tom James.
And I'm Jessica Gilbert. The Florida House voted overwhelmingly to breach the longtime dam at Rodman Reservoir.
That means the Ocklawaha and St. Johns rivers are one step closer to being reunited.
In 1968, there was this idea to do a cross-Florida barge canal. It would have destroyed Silver Springs. We wouldn't be sitting here if that would have happened. And immediately, mostly the environmental community started pushing back about going ahead and restore it. So there's so many stories in between then and now, but the actual reservoir and the structures are still there, and they're still harming things this way, but they're also harming on the St. Johns River. So if you talk to my fishing buddies on the lower St. Johns, they are really hopeful that this happens.
The bill is ready for a floor vote in the Senate, which is expected soon, and the economic and environmental impact of a potential change could be significant.
This is so important to Marion County, and what it involves is really connecting three rivers, the Silver Springs, the Silver, Ocklawaha, and the St. Johns River, all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And so what I want to see those fish back under our glass-bottom boat. I think we will have more manatees. Manatees historically didn't come up here much. We will get a lot more manatees. We could become the biggest inland viewing manatee site in the state. You know, you've got the wildlife viewing's a $1 billion industry in the state. It will increase the number of just sightseeing tour boat operators. And it's a different, unique fishing experience. There is nothing like fishing in some of the little cuts along the Ocklawaha, which feels like the Amazon. People tell us that all the time. It's just relaxing. It's a different, unique experience that we could offer.
Critics of the bill say bringing down the reservoir, which is known for its fishing, would hurt business people in surrounding areas.
But people that have seen that and been attached to that, it's hard to, have a vision for what it could look like. There are people I understand that have never seen the natural river there, and that's hard for them. They've had kids raised there and picnics and fishing, and for years people tried to get through it and tried to get people on board with just focusing on reconnecting the Ocklawaha and restoring the river. What they didn't look at is, so how do we assure that the communities come out whole when this thing's done? How do we make sure the recreation's better than it is today? So what's on the table right now, this is a totally different package. It has restoration and reconnecting this great system. It has two types of recreation in there. It has improving the state lands from the dam to Silver Springs. And the second part is a small grants program for Marion, Putnam, Clay, and St. Johns counties, so that the fishermen that like that wide open experience in the reservoir are probably going to move over to the St. Johns, well, more than likely. That's Lake George. A lot of people don't relate Lake George is St. Johns. So let's have a pot of money for local governments that want to improve their ramps, improve their parking, so you're making sure that's a good fishing experience for the wide open water fishermen.
This episode of the CEP Weekly Buzz is sponsored by Florida Express Waste and Recycling.
Ocala's very own Josh Hart brought home the top fuel victory at the Gator Nationals.
This is Josh's 5th year in NHRA and his first year with John Force Racing.
That's all for this episode of the CEP Weekly Buzz. I'm Jessica Gilbert.
And I'm Tom James for the CEP, the FACP State of Florida Chamber of the Year.